Okay.
Okay. I am Dr. Latti, Professor of Physiology, RMC Dhoni, going to talk on the topic of calcium metabolism and bone physiology. It is a competency number 8.1. So, coming to the topic of calcium metabolism, the distribution of calcium in the body, the total body content is 1200 grams. In bones and teeth, it is 99%. In intracellular fluid, it is 0.9%. In extracellular fluid, it is 0.1%. So this is the how the calcium is distributed in the body. The normal calcium level is 9 to 11 milligram per 100 ml. So coming to the topic of functions of calcium. Calcium ions are involved in many key physiological processes of the body. Genesis and maintenance of action potential, especially cardiac and smooth muscles. Genesis and pacemaker potential in various pacemaking tissues. Excitation contraction coupling during muscle contraction. Excitability of the nerve and the muscle calcium influence. Sodium permeability influence the action potential are triggered, especially in nerves. Low calcium can cause genesis of spontaneous action potentials. This causes the characteristic muscle spasm, hypocalcemic tetany. That's called as hypocalcemic tetany. Cell division and bone formation, that is the mineralization of the bone. Secretion of exocrine and endocrine glands initiates the calcium mediated exocytosis, which causes release of hormones and enzymes from the gland cells. Neurotransmitters released from the nerve terminals. The blood coagulation, the calcium is coagulation factor 4 and is highly essential for clotting of the blood. Modulation of the various enzymes activities also you require calcium. Calcium acts as a second or third messenger in various intracellular signaling pathways for hormonal action, GI motility and motility of many other structures. Therefore, it is essential to maintain the calcium concentration within the normal range. A minor deviation in the calcium level also results in activation of many physiological functions of the body. So coming to this important functions you all studied about the calcium, coming to the metabolism of the calcium. So calcium metabolism is a topic where how the calcium is utilized in the body. The intracellular free calcium is about 0.2 milligrams. 9 grams present in the bone form and storage sites such as mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum. 99% calcium is present in the bones and teeth. So the total body content we already shown calcium 1200 grams. In bones and teeth it is maximum, that is 99%. Intracellular fluid it is 0.9%. Extracellular fluid it is 0.1%. The daily dietary intake of the calcium ranges from 200 milligrams to 2 grams in adult. Daily dietary intake of calcium ranges from 200 milligrams to 2 grams in adult. And the recommended daily intake is 800 milligrams, which is recommended per day. The calcium absorption from the intestine is inversely proportional to its intake. Calcium absorption from the intestine is inversely proportional to its intake. So, prevents the calcium overload. When intake is high, it maintains the calcium concentration even though it is low intake. When daily intake of 1 gram of calcium, as the diagram illustrates you, the 300 milligrams is absorbed in the GI tract. 1 gram of calcium where 300 milligrams is absorbed in the intestine, and about 850 milligrams is excreted out in the form of fecal matter. So 300 milligrams is absorbed, 700 milligrams is excreted stools actually, but about 150 milligram of calcium is secreted in the intestine and 850 milligrams secreted daily in the stools also. So 150 milligrams also excreted in the urine also. Urinary excretion of calcium is 150 milligram per day. So thus the 1 gram of calcium is excreted daily from the body to maintain the balance in the body. So how the calcium exactly, how much calcium is taken, absorbed in the intestine, and how much is excreted out in the form of through the urine, how much is excreted through the rectum or fecal matter, and the absorption taken place. Even the bone, the 500 milligrams per day is bone deposition, and resorption is also 500 milligrams per day. In the tissues from the ECF, 11 grams is circulated through them. So calcium absorption from the intestine is diminished the advancement of the age, which contributes to the development of osteoporosis. Calcium absorbed from the intestine and enters the extracellular fluid pool of calcium, which is about 1000 milligrams. This is equilibrium with rapidly exchangeable pool of plasma. So that is 500 milligrams of calcium enters the bones per day and remodeling of the bone occurs, and 500 milligram calcium extrudes back into the plasma. So the picture shows that how in the bone the 500 milligrams is taken and how 500 milligrams is through the extracellular fluid, which is shown in the diagram. So you require the total body content of the calcium as 1200 gram. The bones and teeth 99% of the total. In intracellular fluid it is 0.9%, around about 11 gram approximately, and extracellular fluid 0.1%, that is 1 gram approximately. So this is the how the calcium is taken out and removed out to the body. Thus it plays an important role as a calcium metabolism. So calcium metabolism plays an important role because it is required. How it is required, or what is the purpose of this helpful in the bone? So let us go for the bone physiology. So bone is the compact living connective tissue which is vascularized in the, it plays an important role in calcium and phosphate homeostasis, in addition to its other important functions also. The inorganic components of this are calcium, 99% the total body content. Phosphate is 86% of body content. Carbonate is 80% total body content. Magnesium is 50% total body content. Sodium is 35% body content total, and water is 8% the total body content. These are the inorganic components. Coming to the organic components, type 1 collagen, 95% the bone matrix. Ground substance, 5% bone matrix. Proteoglycans, high molecular weight substances, etc. As you know that the bones have got skeletal framework of the body, which are crucial for changing the and maintaining the various body postures. By providing the stable background, bones allow the movements also. They play an important role in metabolism of various minerals, especially calcium, phosphate, magnesium, etc. And bones protect the important structures and viscera in the thoracic and pelvic cavities in the skull. Bone marrow is the primary site of homeostasis. They produce supply from elements of the blood. So, coming to the what are the contents of the bone? What are the inorganic components? You already told. 99% calcium, 86% phosphate, 80% carbonates, and magnesium 50%. They have got organic and inorganic contents. Organic mainly, organic matrix of the bone is called osteoid. It's formed mainly by the type 1 collagen, which forms 95% of the matrix. The remaining 5% non-collagen part is called ground substance, which is a mixture of various proteoglycans and high molecular weight compounds consisting mainly of polysaccharides. In compact bone, the collagen is arranged in a concentric layers around the Haversian canals. The diagram shows you Haversian canals, Volkmann's canal, and they have also got the structures called lamellae are seen in the diagram. Haversian system is the main portion showing the bone. Then lamellae are also seen in the bone in the diagram which is shown here. So the Haversian canals, which forms a cylinder-like structures, osteons, they contain osteons or Haversian system. The mineral component of calcium and phosphate in the bone forms hydroxyapatite crystals. These hydroxyapatite crystals are microscopic, needle-like structures parallel along the side of the collagen fibers, and this arrangement provides strength and hardness to the bone. Demineralization of the bone causes loss of hydroxyapatite crystals and makes the organic matrix weak. Loss of organic matrix makes the bone brittle. Coming to the structure of the bone, there are two parts, outer cortex and inner trabeculae. The cortical bone, also called as compact bone, constitutes 80% total bone mass of the bone. It consists of a dense concentric outer layers of the long bones and thinner outer layer of the flat bones. The trabecular bone, also called as spongy bone, constitutes about 20% of the bone mass. It consists of bone spicules that make up the inner part of the axial skeleton and the smaller interior of the long bones. As your diagram shows, before going for that, for every bone has to undergo, the bone parts have got epiphyseal and central portion is called sapt, and the peripheral bone epiphysis. These two forms together, fusion takes place. Epiphyseal ends joins with the sapt during the growth of the bone. Closure of epiphyseal parts occurs at the end of the puberty. This causes cessation of further increase in the height of the individual. However, the width of the bone continues to increase due to the addition of cells of the periosteum, the outer surface of the bone. The nutrients diffuse from the ischium into the trabecular bone via canaliculi. And in compact bone, the nutrients are supplied by Haversian canals that contain blood vessels. Remodeling of the bone occurs. The bone is remodeling throughout the life. During the growth period, bone formation exceeds bone resorption and bone mass increases. During adulthood, the rate of formation resorption is almost balanced both equally. So bone mass remains unchanged. After the age of 40 to 50, the bone resorption exceeds formation of bone mass slowly decrease. So bone resorption exceeds formation so that the bone mass slowly decreases. The process of bone turnover, what we call remodeling of the bone. It's a major mechanism of maintaining the calcium homeostasis in the body. Normally, turnover of about 10% of the total bone mass occurs in a year in adults. There are three types of cells which occurs, which is shown in the diagram here. Osteoid cells, osteoblasts, and osteocytes. Diagram will illustrate you the osteoblast, second osteoid, third one osteocyte. They are connected by canaliculi, which is shown in the diagram. This canaliculi connects the link between osteocyte and osteoblast. The canaliculi forms a linkage between the osteocytes and the osteoblasts. Osteoblasts are bone forming cells, and these osteoblasts synthesize osteoid, organic matrix of the bone. It's called osteoid. They have got numerous endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus. They are present towards the periphery of the bone, and the cytoplasmic processes that connect the osteocytes that are present deeper in the bone. Osteoid produced by osteoblasts is secreted towards the interior of the bone. Slowly the osteoblasts are surrounded by osteoid. They are also surrounded by osteoblasts. The osteoblast surrounds by mineralized osteoid gradually lose their ability to form bones, and they become osteocytes. The cytoplasmic connection between osteoblasts and osteocytes become canaliculi. And these canaliculi are anatomical risk for transfer of nutrients, chemicals, and waste products between the surface and the interior of the bone. Osteoclasts are the cells of mononuclear phagocytic system in the bone. Therefore, they are large multinucleated cells located towards the periphery of the bone. They cause bone resorption by secreting a proteolytic enzymes in the surroundings. The chemicals secreted by osteoclasts make the environment acidic, that enhances the solubility of the bone minerals, and the enzymes secreted cause degradation of the organic matrix. Coming to the mechanism of bone formation. The formation of the bone is a mainly function of osteoblasts. The osteoblasts synthesize collagen and extrusion it into the adjacent extracellular space, and the collagen fibrils form the organic matrix of the bone, which is called as osteoid, And the osteoid, calcium phosphate is deposited, which called mineralization of the bone. Thereafter, organic matrix, hydroxides, bicarbonates are added to form hydroxyapatite crystals. they act to form hydroxyapatite crystals. And osteoids are converted to lamella of the bone. Osteoids are converted into lamella of the bone. The mineralized matrix slowly accumulates and surrounds the osteoblast. The mineralized matrix slowly accumulates and surrounds the osteoblast. So osteoblasts move in the D stage. You can see the diagram. Osteoblasts move away to align to the second layer of osteoid, which is shown in the diagram D. In the A diagram we got osteoblast. In B diagram osteoid formation. In C diagram osteoid converting into lamellae. In the D diagram osteoblasts move away from the second to layer of the osteoid. In the E diagram, third layer of osteoid, where second lamella of the bone. Here, even though the vitamin D is essential for the bone mineralization, the canaliculi that connect the osteocytes from the bone interior to surface transfer the calcium from interior to the exterior bone units. This process of transfer of calcium carried out by osteocytes is known as osteocytic osteolysis. Is known as osteocytic osteolysis. So normally the process does not decrease the bone mass, rather it removes the calcium from the recently formed bone crystals. So, the diagram illustrates the stages of bone formation. The first stage, which starts the osteoblast. Second stage goes to the osteoid formation. Third, osteoid converts into lamellae of the bones. In fourth stage, osteoblasts move towards the line, first lamella of the bone, osteocyte representing the osteoblast. In the E stage, second lamella of the bone, which is formed, the third layer of osteoid formation. So, these are the stages of the bone formation. There are role of chondrocytes also. Chondrocytes, endochondral ossification, before epiphyseal closure. The epiphyseal plate contains what we call chondrocytes. The active chondrocytes synthesize cartilage that gradually embeds into the chondrocytes. The active chondrocytes synthesize cartilage, embeds into the chondrocytes. The embedded chondrocytes are replaced by new chondrocytes and the formation of cartilage continues. The cartilage is slowly calcified and osteoblasts migrate into it. And osteoblasts secrete osteoid that ultimately mineralize the new bone formation. Thus, the bone increases in length as the epiphyseal plate lays down the new bone formation, and the end of the condition, this is called endochondral ossification occurs. IGF-1, insulin, thyroid hormones all stimulate this osteocyte formation activity. Within the few years from the onset of puberty, the chondrocytes become unresponsive to the hormonal stimuli and lose their activity. Finally, the epiphyses unite with the sac, and the process is called closure of epiphyses. Process is called closure of epiphyses. This is also called as ossification. This stops the linear growth of the bone. So epithelial closure also plays an important role in determination of the age of the person. Once the epiphyses of various bones close, the sequence and the age of which they close is known as, therefore, the age of individual, especially in adolescents or young adults, can be determined easily by taking X-rays in the bones, determining whether the epiphysis is closed or still open. So, closure of the epiphysis is one of the important item to prove the age of the person by seeing the X-rays. Bone resorption this is a process of destruction of the bone matrix. The bone resorption decreases the bone mass. It removes the calcium from the bone. It differs from osteocytic osteolysis. In which the calcium is removed without bone destruction. Bone resorption is carried out by osteoclasts. So osteoclasts contain many mitochondria and lysosomes. The phosphatases, type 4 collagenase and lysosomal enzymes cause dissolution of bone matrix. During the process of resorption, the calcium, phosphate, hydroxyproline, hydroxylysine are released into the extracellular fluid. Therefore, the rate of excretion of these organic compounds, especially the hydroxyproline, indicates the rate of bone resorption. As you say, the phases of bone resorption occurs in the two phases. In the first phase, the hydrogen ions are secreted by the osteoclasts. There are proton pumps, that is H dependent ATPases they are called, in the endosomes present in the cytosol of the osteoclasts. When the osteoclasts are activated, proton pump migrate to the cell surface and are inserted into the osteoclast membrane. And secretion of hydrogen ion makes the environmental acidic. The pH decreases about 4 and the acidic pH dissolves hydroxyapatite and favors the action of acidic enzymes. The second phase of the bone resorption, the acid protease enzyme secreted by osteoclast destroys the collagen. That is the organic matrix. The collagen breakdown products have pyridinoline structures. One such important product is hydroxyproline. Therefore, hydroxypronuria is an index of bone resorption. So these are the two phases of. So thus the balance is maintained between the bone formation and bone resorption. The balance is maintained between the bone resorption and bone formation within its bone modeling units. And probably the balance is due to the release of chemicals like paracrine signals from osteoblast or osteoclast. For example, when the osteoclast cause destruction of bone matrix, the chemicals released from the osteoclast attract the osteoblast to the site. Osteoblasts then form the bone matrix and fill the resorption cavity. So, the flux of calcium into and out of the bone reflects the remodeling. That is the turnover and formation of the bone tissue. So, there will be a control of bone formation and bone resorption. Factors that stimulate the bone formation are growth hormone, growth factors, insulin, estrogen, testosterone, vitamin D, PDGF, transforming growth factors, and calcitonin. Factors that inhibit the bone formation, cortisol. Factors that stimulate the bone resorption, parathormone, cortisol, thyroxine, prostaglandins, interleukin 1 and 6, and TNF. Factors that inhibit the resorption, estrogen, androgens, calcitonin, gamma interferons, and TGF-beta. Coming to the applied physiology of this bone, osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, a decrease in the bone matrix or bone mass or density. All the human beings gain in the early life, but the peak of the total bone mass attained between the age of 25 to 35 years of age. After the age of 40, the bone mass decreases. And this is called involutional osteoporosis. In females, the process of bone resorption is facilitated at the time of menopause due to cessation of estrogen secretion. Postmenopausal osteoporosis. The rate of bone remodeling also increases with age. Increased osteoclastic activity. Bone matrix is lost and more activities are formed in the bone. Mineralization decreases in the bone, causes reduction in the bone density and the bone mass. The causes for this osteoporosis. Following conditions causes osteoporosis. What are those? One is hyperparathyroidism. Second, hyperthyroidism. Third, Cushing syndrome. Fourth, ovarian disease reducing estrogen secretion. Cigarette smoking. Alcoholism reducing the calcium absorption. Deficiency of the vitamin C. Vitamin C causes collagen synthesis. And inadequate dietary calcium. These are all the causes of osteoporosis. The osteoporosis increases the susceptibility of the bones. Susceptibility bones, particularly fractures, especially when the elderly persons falls on the floor, is very commonly you are seeing the bone fractures because of the osteoporosis. It occurs in vertebra or hip bones, distal forearms, more trabecular component, which is a more metabolically active, they are lost rapidly. Very commonly that person falls with a hand on the floor, especially in the aged persons, what you call Wallis fractures. So flexor reticulum is damaged or tear causes Wallis fractures. So treatment is depends upon the site of fracture. Bone mobility is reduced. Administration of calcium and vitamin D are given. The treatment depends upon the type of fracture or type of bone loss which occurred in a person, which can be made out. So that's a common cause which is found in the elderly people, and that is called osteoporosis. There is another condition called Osteopetrosis. What is osteopetrosis? A defective increase in the bone formation is called osteopetrosis. The bone resorption is defective due to decreased osteoclastic activity. Therefore, osteoblastic activity is unopposed. This results in unusual increase in the bone formation. So the bone resorption is defective due to decreased osteoclastic activity. And there will be a unopposed osteoblastic activity results in the unusual increase in the bone formation. Bone density is increased and bones are deformed. Neurological deficits occur due to the bones compressing on the nerves. Hematological abnormalities occur due to the decreased marrow cavity. So osteopetrosis, defective increase in the bone formation, and it is because of the following reasons I told. One is defective in the bone resorption, decreased osteoclastic activity, osteoblastic activity is unopposed. Second is the bone density is increased, the bones are deformed. Neurologic deficits occur due to the bones compressing on the nerves, and hematological abnormalities occurs due to decreased marrow cavity. Thus, it causes osteopetrosis. Osteopetrosis, again, the very commonly seen, there is a defect in the bone formation. As you have studied more details about in the previous diagrams, we have shown in the diagrams how the stages of the bone formation, what is the role of osteoclasts, osteoids and osteocytes. I also shown you the diagram showing the different structures of the Haversian canals and how the lamellae are formed, Workman's canal, with the stages of bone formation also we have discussed. We also discussed about how the bone is formed, mechanism of bone formation, role of osteoid, osteocyte, osteoblast, how they help in the bone resorption. We also discussed about the bone resorption, the two phases. The first phase that we required H-dependent ATPase. Second phase we required hydroxyproline, a protease enzyme which secretes the osteoclast, destroys the collagen. Thus, the balance is maintained in the bone formation and bone resorption. We also told that certain factors which the bone formation stimulate, like growth hormone, growth factors, insulin, estrogen, testosterone, vitamin D, etc. We also discussed about the factors that inhibit the bone formation, example cortisols. Factors that stimulate the bone resorption, parathormone, cortisol, thyroxine, prostaglandins, interleukin 1 and 6, TNF. Factors that inhibit the resorption, estrogen, androgens, calcitonin, and gamma interferon, and TGF, beta, etc. In applied physiology, we have discussed more about details about osteoporosis, very common thing which occurs, because that's why you must be very careful. The old people should not fall because the osteoporosis, bone weakness, the bone mass is decreased bone mass and density of the bone. That's why fractures are very commonly seen in the old age people. That's why you should maintain the balance of the aging process. So even in a woman, is very commonly seen is postmenopausal osteoporosis. So that causes very commonly that fractures are common whenever they fall, or because of the osteoporosis. So you have studied more about calcium metabolism, and along with the calcium metabolism, we have also covered the bone physiology, which plays an important role in this bone formation. So that completes the lecture of bone formation. Thank you.